Happy Wednesday, you made it. Midweek. At this point, you have most likely elaborated to the fullest extent. You've probably spiced up your language a little bit in your examples and your reasons and the stories that you've told and so forth. So what you now should have is a lovely lead. You've stated your claim, you've given your 3 reasons, and within those 3 reasons, you told a small story, you gave some examples, you approached it with some facts. And within each of those paragraphs, you might have asked your reader a question, you might have given an example of like one time, and so forth. That was Monday and Tuesday's practice. Today, Wednesday, I think you're ready. I think you're ready to rock and roll. You probably have, most likely, a kind of a hot mess of work in your notebook, in this writer's notebook. You've been circling things and writing things off to the side, and now you have to put it all together into a nice, neat package so you can see what you have. So I want you to print out drafting paper. That drafting paper can be found here. If you like this paper that has double lines on it, go for it, all right? If you prefer the drafting paper that has single lines, you can print this out, all right? Now, both of these papers have all 5 pages on it. Your first page is the page for your introduction, where you have imagined a world, you've asked a question, you've given a bold statement, you stated your claim, you mentioned the 3 reasons, and maybe you included a final sentence to sort of get your reader excited, right? If you continue and print this out, you will have reason number 1 paper, reason number 2 paper, reason number 3 paper. You also have conclusion paper. I have not given you any instructions on how to write the conclusion yet. You don't have to do it, not yet. All right, but I am going to give you an example of what that means. So what I went ahead and did is get rid of this, get rid of that. I actually wrote that entire piece that you and I have been working on for the last few days about why I should get an allowance. I wrote the whole thing out, and it now has all the things that we've worked on, all in this nice little package. Imagine a world where kids are independently thriving with their own saved money. It'd be a world filled with financial pride. I should get an allowance. I should get an allowance because I'm responsible. It'll help me save money to make the world better, and because I won't have to ask you for money anymore. I did not add a little piece, a little final sentence in there. I should. I'll work on that in my revisions. One reason that I should get an allowance is because I am responsible. That's my first reason. An example of this is that I clean my room. Another example is that I do my homework without asking. In fact, one time I cleaned my room right before I had to go to a birthday party. Remember, you were so shocked. Since I'm responsible at home and with my schoolwork, I would most definitely be this way with my money. So this shows that I should get an allowance. You see how I wrapped it up with this last little sentence? Here's my second reason. Another reason why I should get an allowance is because it'll help me save money. That's the second reason that I mentioned up here in green. My friend Simi, this is my small story, my friend Simi recently started getting an allowance for doing chores. At the end of the week, she puts it into 3 jars, 1 for savings, 1 for spending, and 1 for giving away. I really want to do this too. Imagine me, this is like me painting a picture. Imagine me saving, helping, walking around the city, giving my help to others. It'll make the world better when I give some of it away to charity. Don't you see, Mom and Dad? This is another reason why I should get an allowance. I've got all those juicy little spicy things in there. That's going to help elevate my second reason. Now I go on to my reason number 3. Lastly, I should get an allowance. But see how I'm like, first reason, another reason. Lastly, I'm sort of navigating my reader. They're driving the car. They know exactly where it's going to turn. And I keep repeating my claim. Another reason why I should get an allowance. Lastly, I should get an allowance. I keep repeating it. Lastly, I should get an allowance because I won't have to ask you for money. That's my third reason. Here's a couple of facts for you. Remember the facts? Did you know that studies show that kids are more responsible with money when they learn to manage it young? According to usnews.com, kids learn to be smart with finances when they get an allowance. It carries over into their older life. This proves that I should have an allowance. Now, remember we talked about possibly asking a question? I did that here. Now I've got my nice little conclusion. Mom, Dad, I have proven myself to be worthy of an allowance. This time, don't you think? It's time, don't you think? I should have an allowance because I'm repeating it now again, because I'm responsible. I will save money and I want to keep asking you for it. So what do you say? I'm giving them a call to action. Allow yourself to be convinced that the daughter you raised is ready for the next step. Dun, 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 dun. I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away. So all of those things that I've been teaching you over the last couple of weeks are in that essay. So if you're like, do I have everything? You can go back and take a look and see if what you wrote is in, you know, in mine, or if what I wrote is in yours. When you print out the paper, there's enough paper there for you to do your introduction, your reason 1, your reason 2, and your reason 3. Do not write your conclusion yet, because I'm not ready for you to do that. What you're going to end up with is this awesome thing. Now, what I would really love is today you start working on this, and then we start sharing out. I want you to hear one of my paragraphs. I'm really proud of it. All right? So you can write out a paragraph. Thursday, we'll start reading them out loud and see what we have. I might give you some feedback, like, ooh, I like that, but here's what you might want to try, or, ooh, my goodness, way to go, Johnny, love that. There's no Johnny at PS 31, at PS 41 in 3rd grade. Sorry about that. Oh well, Nancy's starting to lose it. Okay, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, this session is now over, and I want you to go and get yourself started. Give yourself a good half an hour of writing today and a good half an hour of writing tomorrow, independently, and see where it takes you. You should have all of this finished by Friday. Okay, it's only Wednesday. You have plenty of time. I hope you have a beautiful day. It's Monday morning right now, and I'm recording this. It's like one of those rainy days, and Mondays always get me down, but you can see it doesn't get me down. Okay, have a beautiful day, all.